Hi, my name is Robert. I'm 44 years old, and I've been part of this program for about 3 months. Before I tell you about how it's going, before I joined this program, I was 401 pounds. I was working on my health. I was working on holistic health, mental health, spiritual health, physical health. And I was not having much victory and much progress in my physical health. And so I'd lose a few pounds, maybe 10, 15 pounds, and gain it right back. So I was losing the same 15 pounds over and over. Still had some dietary bad habits. I guess that's how you say that. My diet wasn't the greatest. And I didn't have the knowledge or the education on how to set myself up to win. Ever since I've joined this program, there's been quite a few wins. And so it's working so far. And here we are. I'm approaching my third month and I'm down 28 pounds. It's been very successful. I would recommend this program for anyone.
At 28 pounds, I thought it was only 25. I feel like what is
It
it,
was
1 pound?
25 3 days ago. And as of today, July 15th, 2026 at 5:17 p.m., I weigh 3 pounds less. I was at 25. Now it's 28. We keep going down.
Yeah, 28 pounds in 3 months. And I mean, that puts you on track to lose, if you keep up this rate of progress, like 100 pounds in a year, which we've definitely seen from other clients. It's definitely possible.
Yeah.
Do you
And
feel
it's
like
my goal.
that's your goal?
I want to lose 100 pounds. Now, if it takes more than a year, that's fine, but
Mhm.
I'm sick of being fat.
Yeah. And you've lost the weight before and it's came back, right? Like, what makes you feel that this is going to be any different or it's not going to come back?
Well, I think, when I had lost, first of all, I'd never lost 100 pounds.
Mhm.
I was also never this heavy. But when I did, I had gained a few pounds and I had lost maybe max 30, 40 pounds. And I didn't have the discipline. I was still in my late 20s. I didn't really know who I was yet. So I didn't have the discipline or the skill. I guess my priority wasn't health. I didn't, like I said, so I think now as I'm 44 years old, I've lived life. I've walked on earth for a while. I know what my priorities are. I don't want to die young. I want to, live well and be healthy. And after having lived a while, I understand the importance of discipline and maintaining that and saying no to something that's not necessarily good for me. Like I love chocolate cake and I love brownies, but no. You know, you can't have those every day. You can't have them with every meal. You can't have, I'm in San Antonio, Texas. We love Big Red. You can't have Big Red today. You're going to drink water or drink a Big Red Zero, So, I didn't, so putting in, having the knowledge and applying that knowledge and best practices is proven to be worth it. A cheat is not worth it. Having brownies every day is not worth losing this, losing, the win, right? So I hope I'm making sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So what
Yeah.
was it about like this program that just activated you and like why didn't it happen prior to joining? Like why on your own didn't you just lose that 28 pounds in 3 months?
Well, I didn't really have the knowledge, and I didn't have a coach, and people are expensive. Coaches and paying for a coach or a trainer can be very expensive. And so I did have moments of, some wins, but the thing with this, first of all, I was already tired. I had in 2020, it's 2026. In December of 2021, I almost died, health related. So, it changed my perspective. So when this opportunity presented itself to me, I immediately said yes. And I think I'm winning because not only does this program give you the knowledge, you have a coach and they don't just tell you what to do, they coach you through this is the type of the exercises you can focus on this part of your body, that part of your body. This food will help apply this type of nutrients to help you with this, whether it's protein, whether it's fiber. So it's everything. And there's also I forget what Ash is, but they offer all kinds of resources that set you up to win. And that's why I believe it's working for me. Did I answer the question?
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
Ash
And I will
provides
say
it.
this, if it doesn't, and I'm not trying to be heartless, but if this is not working for you and it's not due to an unfortunate circumstance out of your control, then you might need to do some soul searching because it works. It's set up for folks to win. And
Yeah.
if anybody is strong-willed and spoiled, I was. But when I said no to myself and yes to this process, I started winning. And it's not just the weight loss. I'm generally healthy. So anyway, sorry.
No,
I
absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, did you have any reservations about joining specifically in terms of like this is not the cheapest thing in the world?
I mean, it's
Talk to me
definitely
about that.
yeah. I mean, for me, that's another thing why I've really done my best to stick with it because everybody lives on a different budget. When it comes to financial classes, but for me, this it was very intimidating. It was kind of somewhat daunting. I'm like, man, can I really afford this? And there are different options to choose from. So thankfully, I found an option that was economical and affordable for me. And what's wonderful is that the conversation I was having was with Zach. And Zach said, let's see what we can have. Let's see what we can find, what options we have that work for you. And what impressed me, forgive me, I'm getting text messages as we're on this meeting. But what impressed me about Zach, can you see me? What impressed me about Zach is that he was willing to sit with me and wait until we found something that worked for me to be able to join this program, which is why I've done my best to stuck it out and win. I feel like Zach really was there to say, no, we have something for you. There's a way for this to work, and he found a way, and presented an option that worked for me. And so um, I think I've gotten off track, but yeah,
No, that's on track
yeah,
because
yeah,
most people that come to us, they all have weight to lose, and everybo's got the fear of I can't afford it or it's not going to work for me. It's going to be a waste of money. And I always tell people, I'm like, I firmly believe that if you really want to do this, there is always a way to make it work. It's not
yeah,
going to be comfortable. We're not here for comfort, though. You're
right,
in this position because of how comfortable you've been. And if somebody
right.
wants to make it work, there's a way. And I presented that way to you and you took it. And now you're 28 pounds down from your heaviest and you're on track. And do you feel like when you graduate this program that you'll be able to continue on your own and be self-sufficient?
I think so, yes, because I think I've had plenty of opportunity to practice the discipline. You know, I'm very self-serving, man. You know, so for me to be able to practice the discipline and say, Robert, no, shut up, get to the gym. Put down the mashed potatoes. You're not eating mashed potatoes today with this chicken. You're going to eat mashed cauliflower instead, and you're going to like it with sour cream and chives. So I didn't have the knowledge before, but it's working because there's the knowledge, the practicing the discipline, and knowing how to rearrange your food and still enjoy your food uh, with healthier options.
Yeah.
I didn't know I would love turkey sausage so much. I didn't know that egg whites could taste so good. It's like clockwork. I'm like, no, 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 no. Like, what? They're like, when does Robert say no to bacon and eggs? So it's great. I think if you stick it out in the initial part of the process and create the good habits, you'll win.
Are you enjoying the process?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I get annoyed, sometimes I get mad. I'm like, I don't want to do this right now. I was having a very self-serving moment and I was like, I don't want to go to the gym. I do not want to freaking go to the gym. You got to get your fat butt up and go to the gym. I had one moment where I cheated and I was like, I want Big Red and I want a brownie or those brownie bites that HEB sells. So I had them. Would you know that I gained 5 pounds that week? From that one cheat, I'm like, oh my God, cheating is not worth it. So long story short, you didn't ask that. Um, that one night I didn't want to go to the gym. I battled. I said, shut up, I'm gonna go. Thankfully, my gym is 24/7. So I left my house at 2 a.m. Got to the gym at 2:15 and I stayed for an hour and a half. You know, uh, with my, with me, like, begrudging doing that, but I did all the workouts that I was supposed to do, and I felt great after. It felt like I had conquered the world because I did something and fulfilled something that I didn't want to do, and I saw it was worth it because the reward was good results. I weighed less the next few days. I felt a lot better. It was healthier. I have more energy. So it's great, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it works. This is really set up for you to win. There's a coach to help you. There's a counselor and a coach to help you with mental health and therapy if you need it. There's a nutritionist. There's someone who checks your vitals. There's a support call there. And then you have your coach. My coach is Austin. He's amazing. He tells me the truth. He doesn't let me off the hook. I'm very much a straight shooter, you know, and so is he. So he lets me know, hey, Robert, come on, mom. You know, he doesn't let me off the hook. But there's grace, you know. I had a situation, my grandmother's dying. She's also suffering from dementia. I'm the eldest grandchild, eldest grandson. We're very close. There has moments where the family calls, hey, your grandma wants you. She's crying for you. You need to get over here. And I get over there and I'm there with my grandma. So there was a few days where I'm like, I told Austin, I didn't make it to the gym this week. I didn't, here's why. And the good thing about Austin, he was not so concerned about you're not doing what you're supposed to do. He was very supportive and saying, hey, he was very empathetic, very supportive, and he understood and also reminded me, I'm so sorry that you're going through this. Whatever you need, we got you. We support you. However, remember not to let this set you backwards. There's moments for grace. There's moments for, if you needed some time, but make sure that you don't let this throw you off. You're doing great. And so I appreciated his empathy and also the reinforcement of the push to use this, whether it's pain or frustration, as a motivator to continue to win in spite of situations like that. I appreciate Austin very much. He's awesome.
Yeah, I mean that I appreciate you sharing that. That's a great example of just an obstacle that life's going to throw at you because as you
Mm.
know, nothing about life is perfect and that's part of it. That's why men fall off because they're just when things like that happen, they don't know how to get back on track or they use it as a reason to get off track and then
Yeah.
there's nobody or nothing to help them get on track. They don't know how to do it themselves.
Yeah. And one thing that I appreciate that Austin said, he goes, you know what? He said, like, I don't know your grandmother. He goes, but I know you, dude. And he goes, you're a great person. He said, you're fun. He began to just tell me about my attributes, remind me about the good things about myself. Not that I asked him, but he's just very encouraging. And if your grandmother loves you like you say she does, I'm sure she would want to make sure that you are living your best life in the best way and with health. And I'm sure she would not want you to give up. I said, no, and I don't plan on giving up. But I really appreciated that. Like I'm sad. I'm a little emotional over my grandmother. I don't want to lose this lady. She's the matriarch and holds the family together. We love her so much, but at the end of the day, I want to make her proud, so sometimes I just, there was that week I just like, I don't want to do nothing. I want to sit here, sulk. I want the biggest steak there is, and I want the biggest big red there is, but I didn't do that. My grandmother, she's approaching 90 years old. Well, she's 87, right? But I want to be able to live a life so healthy and so well that I get to live that long. And if I don't take care of myself, I might not make it, you know? So we're going to put down that big red. Whatever comes my way, stay the course. So,
Absolutely. And
yeah.
how have you noticed this? I mean, I know you're only down 28 pounds so far, but how is it affecting other areas of your life outside of your health? And when lose all the weight you want to lose, like where do you see it impacting other areas?
Well, I mean, it's easier to walk upstairs. It's easier just to live life. Before I started this program, I had gone to New York and I spent the first week of December there and with family and friends. We were celebrating a birthday. And the thing that frustrated me is that I really couldn't keep up with everyone when it came to going up the stairs into the museums, into the certain historical buildings, or in the subway. So now that I'm dropping weight, it's easier to do that. And I remember thinking, I never want to be this young again and feel like I can't do something that people my age can do with no problem. So it's impacting me in a way where I'm able to do everyday things that I should be able to do that I can't do. I couldn't go up the stairs at a certain pace. I couldn't, you know, uh, I still cannot do the lunges yet, but but just being lighter, I move quicker. I'm not as heavy, I'm a little lighter on my feet, thankfully. So it's been great in that way. And then, of course, being able to practice the discipline and, in the losing the weight and budgeting calories is just, I don't know, the world seems different. I'm able to stay a little more focused and see the world differently. I wish I had a better way of describing that to you, but choosing to practice the discipline has really changed how I manage my own life, even with my time. Now today I've been stuck at work all day and we're kind of busy. So, Austin would hate to hear this. Sorry, Austin, if you see this. I haven't eaten yet and it's 5:30, you know, but I'm drinking my water here. He's going to be so mad. Robert, you had one meal. What's up, dude? but, but no, but really, it's really helped me focus. I'm winning on the job. I'm winning, mentally. I'm winning spiritually. I'm winning physically. So, and it affects everything. It affects how I treat my neighbors. It affects how I interact with my team at work. It affects how I interact with my family. I think happiness is temporary. It comes and goes like the seasons. But joy is everlasting and it's forever. You can choose that. And so, there's a lot more joy in my life when I deal with people. I see the world with a more joyous lens, not so discouraged sometimes, or not so pessimistic. I'm a lot more optimistic, if you will,
I
if that
love
makes
that. Everything you're sharing is so powerful.
yeah.
So my last question is to the man watching this who's 50 pounds, 100 pounds, even 150 pounds overweight, and he's on the fence. He doesn't know if he should join a program like this, hire a coach. He thinks it might not be for him. What would you say to that man who needs this?
Hey friend, try it. It's worth it. I mean, if you've tried everything, you haven't tried this. I'm 401 pounds. I'm down 28 pounds. Now, I'm going to tell you, it's let's just be real, man to man or man to woman, is going to suck. You're going to have to really practice the discipline of saying no to yourself, no to that Snickers bar, or and create better habits. But it's worth it. Try it. It's going to work, and it's worth the money. You know, you know, whatever amount you're contemplating, I promise you, it's worth it. I find you may live longer than you would have not trying this. So if you're on the fence, it's worth the try. And it's really set up for you to win. They have a coach for everything. If you need to talk to somebody, they have someone available for you to talk to. If you need, all the coaching is a bit, there's resources, in my opinion, to no end. It's worth it. Please try it. And you'll find if you follow the instruction of your coaches, if you follow the process and you practice the discipline, you'll see the good results. There will be proof. So you'll start to win if you're not winning. So try
It was great speaking with you, Robert.
it. Always good to talk to you, Zach.